Hola, ¿qué tal? Soy Ani Mantilla y estamos aquí en el Teatro Calderón en esta cobertura que estamos haciendo para la Seminci de Valladolid en Quinótico y estoy con dos directores, los autores de una película que ganó un premio en Locarno, Hair, Paper, Water, y estamos con Nicolas Graux, welcome, y Trương Minh Quý, que estuvimos ya el año pasado con él porque es el director de Vietnam. You won a prize in Locarno. This is your third time here in Seminci. How important is for filmmakers to develop profound relationships with festivals nowadays?
Yes, this is my third film that's showing here, my second time being here. I think it's create the relationship between filmmaker and festivals. I think it's important because I don't know. It feel like, of course, as a filmmaker, we are happy when the film is recognized. But also we're more happy if we can come back to a festival that who used to recognize our film. It creates something like a friendship, I think. Yeah.
And Nicolas, what's the experience of traveling, for example, with a film like Hair, Paper, Water around the world and discussing with the audience?
Of course, it's great. It came a bit as a surprise, actually, because for this film especially, we kept this film very small and very, like, secretly between ourselves. It was not a big production or something. We didn't have really huge expectations. We just worked on our own, and we took our time. So it's a small film. It's very homemade. So the fact that it's running to so many festivals and also the award in Locarno really came as a surprise, and of course a great surprise. It's beautiful when it happens.
You did a short film, Corcupine, 2 years ago, I think. Was that like the moment you realized that you had to do a film together? What was the seed of this film for both of you?
I think the short film we made was a kind of laboratory also for our relationship and collaboration, and it was not that easy actually to try to find ourselves, because we are both filmmakers. We're our own filmography before, and the short film in a way allowed us to understand each other better and to make this new film, Hair, Paper, Water, in a very smooth and much more balanced way. So I think that in Hair, Paper, Water there was not so much struggle. Everything was very simple and smooth.
I think the short film also help us to realize that in filmmaking, sometimes working together, we tend to compromise a lot, because we have this clash of the visions between the two or different directors. So when we go to Hair, Paper, Water, we somehow it's somehow clear for us that the way to collaborate is to know whose vision we would follow in certain step of the filmmaking. For example, Nicolas is the one who filmed the film with the small Bolex camera, so he totally controlled the image and the feel of the film. And then when we go to the editing, it's me who edit. I think, but of course we consult each other. But I think it's very interesting way to collaborate. It means that we accept the vision of the other and then we follow. We don't debate and compromise. Yeah.
It's very interesting that you did the film in two different moments. How was having 2 years to look from afar to what you had done and say, okay, we need this to finish this film?
I think this is something that only a small-scale documentary can allow, this extended time. And it's very precious because over this time we had the opportunity to make a first rough cut, but also and to understand what the film would become. but also the relationship with our main protagonists and the people around got deeper and deeper and very intimate. Like during the second period of shooting, I was so emotionally connected with the people because of the time, because of these 2 years gap, because of coming back. So in coming back over and over, it was a bit like returning home and deepening the relationship with the people, which I think nourished the film really from the inside.
You were talking about the leading character in this film, Madame. How and when did you find her, and did you realize that she was like the star of this film in a way?
So yeah, Miss Cowdehow, actually she was in my previous documentary, which was the first film that showed in Valladolid,
yeah.
yeah, here in 2019. So I knew her since then, and back then I didn't think that I would make another film with her. But then when I shared to Nicola the story about her, you know, and especially the image that Nicola could share later, so we think, okay, it's something that maybe it's only possible if I do together with Nicola, because otherwise it would be very difficult for me and nothing new, you know. If I come back alone and make another film with her, there's nothing new, then nothing surprising would come. Yeah. So you want to share about the image? Yeah.
Yeah, so it was actually at the first time of our relationship in 2020, and we started to share naturally our previous films with each other, and so we watched the Treehouse, and we talked about the Treehouse, and Kui mentioned that once Cao Tiho told him that if her valley got flooded during the rainy season, which is very common, it happens every year, so she would take a boat, a small boat, to row back to the cave, and that was an image that really stuck in our mind at the moment. Something very, very deep and very something sort of return to the origins on water that really appealed to us, and we thought this could be a new film, and this could be a film that allows us to work together. There was a sort of space opening up.
As you were saying before, you used a Bolex camera for filming this story. It's a very particular technique because, as I was reading, it's like using a TikTok in a way. You only can film for a really short period of time. Why were you so sure about this camera?
I think there was something about the working hand with the hands in the material, and something also very archaic about this old technique, because Bolex camera is only manual, mechanical, so you have to crank, and then you can shoot for about 25-30 seconds, and then you have to crank again. So there's nothing electrical. It's a very primitive tool in a way. And somehow, because this film is also a sort of coming back to the origins and coming back to a cave that maybe lost, maybe just only a memory, there was something really collided with the technology that we wanted to use, and also very challenging because we were going to make this film together, so we wanted to also explore a new language of filmmaking and something very essential in a way.
Maybe I just add something a bit more abstract. Is that I guess there are two ways of filmmaking, you know. One way is that the reality is something for you to like you try to make the reality to match your ideas. So the reality is just like here reality is mean equipment, you know, technology, equipment, or the crew, or the budget, or everything. It's something for you to twist it, you know, to match your idea, your story. But the second way is that when we see the reality, we see the potential, and we try not to limit ourselves, but to see the limit as a potential. Like in this case, the Bolex camera, the 30 seconds is not the limit, but there's a potential for us. So that's how we see the filmmaking in this film. Yeah.
In Spain, we speak Spanish, but we also have another languages like Catalan, Basque, Gallego. In the heart of this film, there is also this desire of preserving a language, the Rook language. How did you come with that idea? And I wanted to ask you about the use of intertitles throughout the film. Yes, about that.
Well, it also comes back to the practicalities of filming with this camera, actually, because as Quy said, there are a lot of limitations with this camera, but also a lot of space for freedom. And I think before embracing a language, there was something in the process of making this film that was more like trying to embrace a world, a whole world. And we realized along the way that this film was becoming like a sort of book of images, like with many snapshots of daily life, elements, plants, animals. And with this, and knowing that another limitation of the camera is that we cannot use direct sound, so we knew that the film would rely on voiceover and reconstructed sound. The film became a sort of children book with words, and this is something that we also discovered along the way. It was how to weave this to get together, and how to create a shape that is about sharing the world we live in. So language came naturally into this process, and the use of intertitle was quite natural because it matched something that has to do with the origins of cinema too, when the words appear on screen. And it came along the way.
And I think it also because slowly we discover that the role of the boy, little boy, he got more and more important in the film because we have 2 years in between, and then during that 2 years he grew up, and then when we came back, he just within 2 years he changed a lot. Children at that age, so he had more sorrow, he had more thinkings about life, family. And then naturally the film become obvious to us that there is this relationship between her and him, a grandmother and grandson. It become kind of generation connection, and also the transmission of stories, of memories, and especially language. I think from these all elements, the Rook language, the use of the Rook language become important in the film.
I'm intrigued. Well, I love how sensorial the film feels, and I think we are living a dangerous time in a way, filmmaking-wise. For example, it's been told that Netflix ask filmmakers and the people who do their TV shows that they have to say everything so people can understand what's going on without having to pay too much attention. How is making a film nowadays that it plays in such a different league that asks you to immerse yourself, to let go, to go deep in this film?
I think there's a lot of thinking for these matters from outside, when we judging something. But for us, for me, I guess for Nicolas too, filmmaking is something that integral with our life. So we don't take filmmaking as something like outside, like we want to do this because we want to get that, because it's everyday life, basic for us. So when we discover the camera, under our bed, it's something so intimate, something that like a bit funny for us. So okay, let's do something with this camera, and there's no question about the industry or anything, because it's just that, when you have something to do, really you feel connected to that. You don't think about other questions, and also I think, like Nicolas said in the beginning, we were surprised because how the film is well received. even though at the beginning we think that it's still a small film. But we also knew that this is something special, something that unique. The film offers something that, like you could say, it's nowadays we rarely see. But it's not our intention to do that, you know.
I think for us, it's also something very, very essential about the essence of filmmaking is to step out of your room, step out into the reality and meeting someone. And that is something that maybe is under threat today when it's becoming more and more common to just talk with your computer, you know. But for us, the meeting with someone is still really much the essence of cinema, and that's something which, very humbly, in our way, we still try to resist. And that filmmaking is not really the goal in itself, but it's part of the experience of meeting someone and going deeper and deeper into that meeting. And it's not only someone, but it's a reality, and it's the elements of this reality, the details, the mud, the rain, everything.
Nicolas, Truong, thank you very much. Enjoy San Sebastian. Seguimos con...
Valladolid.
Valladolid. I've done many festivals this year, as you guys have. Seguimos aquí con más entrevistas en Quinótico.es. La primera con K, la segunda con C. Hasta luego.